杯子，我们不能在这杯子上，我们要在这大杯子。好。
Hello, this is Emily. Hello, foreigners. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about school. So I teach kindergarten, as I've mentioned before, and a big deal in kindergarten English teaching, a big deal of all English teaching, but even while they're young, is phonics. We do phonics really heavy in kindergarten. And this week in my classes, I'm teaching. To one set of classes, we're doing L. To another set, we're doing N, which coincidentally, so I'm going to do a phonics tangent here. Putonghua, Mandarin Chinese, does indeed have different phonemes for L and N. But the area of China in which we are does not always, the speakers don't always distinguish. So you have nung, lung, those are two different words. But the people in this area kind of both say them as like lung. So when I'm teaching English for Sichuan speakers, I try to hit that differentiation really hard. Which if you've never thought about it, here's a brief physiology lesson for you. L and N in your mouth, your tongue position's exactly the same. What makes them different sounds is that L comes through your throat and N comes through your nose. You can try it. La la la, na na na, la la la, but your tongue's in the same place. And actually also, R is very closely related, although a little bit, the tongue's a little further back. And that's why stereotypically we make fun of Asian people for confusing their N's and their R's. But that's not what happens here. It's N and L have trouble getting distinguished. I could talk phonics and physiology all day, but I won't. So one of the L words that we did was ladybug. And so when I'm teaching the words, we try to do an action that goes with each word, because that helps you remember it better when you can associate an action with a meaning, with a word, with a sound. And so for ladybug, I did something like right on your shoulder. And the kids in one class just went, and they start screaming, not in real fear, but in that mock play time, it's fun to be afraid as a baby. And they start saying, my assistant told me, they're saying, it's poisonous, don't let it touch you, it's poisonous. Which I then told them, in America we think it's a lucky thing for a ladybug to touch you. If a ladybug lands on you, that's good luck. And I started thinking about it, like, we have a tenderness towards ladybugs in American culture. I think that, like, it's still a bug, but we like it. And Catherine had never heard of that, but she also had never heard that ladybugs were poisonous. And when I taught it in other classes, the kids did not react like that. So I just thought it was funny that all the kids just decided together, ladybugs are poisonous and dangerous. Ah! And they kind of had fun making up that as a myth. I think that's a very human instinct to create stories together in a group. It's a very bonding thing. And even if you're 4 years old, you're still going to participate in that kind of bonding. So there. So I don't look Chinese. That's pretty obvious. No one who looks at me thinks I look Chinese, ever. Peter actually, if he shaves his head, sometimes people from far away think he might be a Chinese person. But I've never ever been mistaken for Han Chinese. And we live in a part of the world, as I've said, where there's not a lot of other foreigners. Maybe a couple hundred tops. So I stick out. The thing is, when you're a foreigner in China where there's not a lot of other foreigners, people tend to notice you and they'll call out. They'll say like "Waigoren," which means foreigner, or sometimes "Laowai," which also means foreigner. But recently, in the past year, instead of people pointing out like, "Hey, you're a foreigner," they've started asking, "Are you a foreigner?" And I even got like, Are you from Xinjiang, which is a province? It's part of China, but it's up in the north, and the native people there look a little more Central Asian than typical Han Chinese. So it was really interesting. This person was like, "Are you from Xinjiang?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "But you're a foreigner, right?" Yes, I am. I am a foreigner. You've got it. Which I have. My only guess is that maybe people are a little more aware that the world is big and many people can look many different ways, even in our small town Luzhou. But it's really interesting to see that shift. I only got asked if I was from Xinjiang once, but I have been asked, "You're a foreigner, right?" Then rather the declarative, "You're a foreigner," a couple times in the past year. And I just thought that was really interesting. I am a foreigner, it's true. And so are you. My amateur phonics theory is that R, what we call an R, is one of the most diverse phonemes across all languages that have it. Like a D is a D in whatever language, da-da-da-da-da. But R, from French to Spanish to American English to British English to Chinese to Vietnamese, it all actually sounds pretty different and is a pretty different mouth shape and tongue placement. It's just my theory. I think it's interesting. Yep.